Hello Artcadets, welcome to my channel where learning art is fun. I'm Sarah, and in today's video I'm going to show you step by step how to draw a realistic duckling freehand. So that's without using grids or tracing paper. All you need is a pencil, an eraser and a piece of paper. And any paper will do, but just bear in mind if you're trying this at home and you plan on colouring in your picture using paint, you will need to use a slightly thicker or watercolour paper. So if you like this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. So before we begin the drawing, I just wanted to talk to you quickly about 2D versus 3D shapes and how understanding the difference will help us to make our drawings more realistic. If you don't want to watch this quick demo, you can fast forward to the drawing part. So let's consider first a circle, and I've drawn one on the left here. Now a circle is a 2D shape. So that means that it is flat. So a 2D shape has width, which I'm just showing by drawing this horizontal line across our circle, and it also has height, which I'm drawing with this vertical line. So what about a sphere then? Well, a sphere is a 3D shape. So it has height, it has width, but it also has something else. It has depth. So how do we create depth in our drawing to make our drawings look 3D and therefore realistic? Well, I'm just going to use this orange to demonstrate. Now our orange is roughly spherical, and what I'm going to do is draw a line from the top of the orange vertically down to the bottom. Now from this angle we can see it's just a straight line and represents the height. And also if we turn it to the side, that same straight line can represent the width. But look what happens if we turn the orange. That straight line now looks slightly curved. So if we draw this on our diagram here, we can see that by drawing curved lines, our circle is starting to look more spherical. We can also do the same for the line across the width of our sphere and draw in curves to again make it look more three-dimensional. And it's being able to draw the impression of depth that helps our drawings to look realistic. And knowing this helps us to place our facial features in the right place, in this case on our duckling, because features don't just sit on a flat shape, they wrap around a 3D object. So now we're ready to begin our drawing. I'm going to use this reference picture of a duckling to help me, since in order to get an accurate sketch I need to know the general proportions and features of a duckling. And to start with, I'm looking at my reference picture to figure out the general shape of the duck's head, because that's where we're going to start. So step one is start in the middle of your page to make sure that your whole drawing is going to fit in. So I began by looking at the duckling's head shape and marked out a rough outline. So I started with a simple circle shape and then just made a few alterations to make it look more like the shape of my duckling's head. we're not going to put in details at this point. So the second step is to add in an outline shape for the duck's bill, and I'm using my reference picture here and my pencil to check the length and angle of my duck's bill in comparison to the duck's head that I've drawn. And you'll notice throughout this drawing process I do check back quite a lot with the reference picture I've got. So again, just marking out a fairly basic shape for the duck's bill. And the duck's bill was about 2/3 of the length of the duck's head. So again, I'm just using my pencil to check the angle of the beak compared to the head. And checking the head length compared to the beak. You can also check other angles, so here I'm checking the angle from the beak to the top of the head. And you can make any alterations. So here I noticed that my beak is slightly too long, so I can just make that alteration before moving on to the body. And sometimes this sort of method can take a little bit of practice, but that's why it's a good idea to use pencil, use a light sketch, and then it's easy enough to erase if you need to. Right, so the next step, step 3, is to move on to drawing the duck's body. And I'm just drawing a line, imaginary line with my pencil from the head to see the curve of the duck's body, and also using the length of the head to see how far the body comes out. So it's about twice and a little bit the length of the duck's head. So I've just made a small mark there and noticed that looking at our reference picture, the curve of the duck's back does go over the height of the head. And I'm just sketching that in lightly with my pencil. So these are all fairly simple lines I'm making. So have a go at home. If you don't get it right first time, don't worry, just keep practicing. Because practicing sketching freehand is a really good way to get more accurate drawings really quickly. So again, I'm just checking with my pencil here the bottom of the beak and seeing how far underneath the curve of the duck's body goes. And again, I've noticed that I need to do it slightly deeper. So no problem, we just adjust that and rub out the previous line. So the next step is to go on to marking in the duck's facial features. So that's his eye and the side of his beak. And it's using what we talked about first, our knowledge of 3D drawings and 3D shapes, that will help us put the eye in the right place. And you can see here I'm just drawing a few guidelines going around the duck's head, because it's not a 2D object, it's a 3D object. So I'm just doing the top of the duck's bill here, and it's not a straight line across the top, it is slightly curved to follow round the 3D shape of the duck's head. And I'm just drawing lightly in those horizontal lines around the duck's head, and this is going to help us place the eye. So the eye is about halfway down the duck's head, and obviously it's on a slight angle, which is why I'm just drawing this angle line here. So we can place that eye, which is on a slight angle. It's not a 2D shape, it wraps around the duck's head. And checking back with a reference picture to make sure it's in the right place. So once we've got the facial features in and we're happy with everything being in the right place and in proportion, it's now time to mark in those feathers and make sure that we've got those in the right place as well. So I'm just marking in the areas that I'm going to be colouring in later, and making a few slight alterations to the shape of the head and also the duck's back there, and adding in the wings and the direction that the feathers are going to be growing in as well, so that when I'm going to be colouring this in on Friday, I'll know which direction that the feathers are growing in, and it will make it a lot more realistic and easier to colour in when I get round to that. So I hope you found this little tutorial helpful and you've been able to see a few hints and tips of how I draw accurate drawings from a reference picture without using any grids or tracing paper or anything like that. Drawing 3D can be really fun and really rewarding, and adding things like shadows and reflections, as I'm just doing here, really helps to make your drawing look realistic, and it's a really good practice to have a go without using any aids. So if you've liked this drawing and you've liked this tutorial, then please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. So our drawing is pretty much done, and if you've tried this at home, let me know as well what you have chosen to colour your duckling in with. I am now just going to go over my pencil drawing with a fine liner, and I'm not doing a sort of a firm continuous line. I'm using a sort of a light feathery kind of outline so that I'm going to be ready to colour this in on Friday. And once I've done that, I'm going to rub out my guidelines and it will be all ready to colour in. So if you want to find out how I coloured this in, then do check in with us on Friday, because all will be revealed then. So you can see here just a few last touches before I rub out my guidelines, and you can see that the lines I've made aren't straight, permanent, rigid lines. They're quite light to help us paint that in realistically later on. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you on Friday. Thanks for watching. Bye.